and welcome back to my channel. What have I got in store for you today? Well, we have Keto shortbread. Now there are some alterations you can make to this recipe. We are going to get in there as quick as we can. You can do this with chocolate chips. You can do it plain, just leave out the chocolate chips. You can add different flavours with different essences. So just replace the vanilla with whatever flavour that you like. You can also use this recipe for the bottom of your millionaire shortbread, which I do already have a recipe for, which is an alternate version of the shortbread. So it should be either up here or up here. If not, I'll leave a link in the description and you can pop over and have a look at the Keto low carb millionaire caramel shortbread. Whew, mouthful. So everything you need is in the description down below. There are also some affiliate links down there for some of the things like the granulated erythritol. If you do purchase these, a small donation does go towards the channel, which helps absolutely massively, and it doesn't cost you a penny. So, with that in mind, let's get started. First of all, as usual, wash our hands. And then the first step. So, you can use a hand mixer, you can use your hands, you can use a standard mixer like this, or like I say, you can use your hands with a fork. I'm opting for this one today, which you might not see very well on the close-up camera. I'm pointing up there because that's where the camera is today. But that's fine, because we're going to try and do this as quick as possible. It doesn't take that long to make this recipe. So, first in is my butter and my granulated erythritol. That is in there, and we're going to cream that together. So, I will get rid of the noise for you, and you can see me cream this. So, here we go. Sorry, quick tip, make sure your butter is soft but not melted. It needs to still hold itself. It can't be completely runny. Okay, so once you've creamed that together, if you're like me and you're using a stand mixer, just make sure you scrape down your sides and the baton. You can do this with a dough hook as well, but I can't find mine. And just give it one more quick whiz around to make sure it's all incorporated really nicely. So here we go. Brilliant. Now how simple was that for a first stage? Second stage, we are going to add our ground almonds, fine ground almonds. I buy mine, it's the Wentworth's ground almonds. I find them to be slightly too thick. I will leave a link in the descriptions of the fine ground almonds I got from Amazon. Can you see in that close-up? And here, these are a lot finer than your normal ground ones. So in that goes. And also your vanilla essence is to go in now as well. And then mix together. Again, I'm going to fast forward through the noise for you on this part. And again, don't forget to wipe down your sides and the baton to make sure it's all being incorporated really nicely. And there we go, let's mix again. Okay, and once that is kind of mushed together, you will see that it's starting to try to form a ball, which is perfect. So next, in goes the chocolate chips. Now, I'm going to be honest, actually, let me just show you some of these on the camera. I didn't realise I'd ran out of the dark chocolate, sugar-free chocolate chips. So what I've done is I've taken some of the dark chocolate and put it in a bag, and I've just batted it with sound effects included, with a rolling pin, and just until I've ended up with some nice thick chunks, and then I'm chucking that in. But again, there is a link down below if you want the chocolate chips. If not, try to use above 85% dark chocolate, winner. And then incorporate these together. there we go. There is our basic shortbread mix. Mixed. So I'm just going to take the dough needle off and any of the spare put into there, and we're going to scrape this all together, and you should have a nice ball of dough. Okay, so the next stage is I want you to grab 2 pieces of greaseproof parchment paper, and we're going to plonk that dough ball, which will feel slightly sticky, I may add, but that's fine, and put that onto your parchment paper. I'm just going to get rid of this so you can see what I'm doing, and then with that parchment paper I want you to grab another piece and place it over the top. Then with a rolling pin I want you to roll this out till it's about a centimetre thick. Okay. I also want you to line a baking tray with a piece of parchment as well. As always, you can sprinkle a bit of water underneath, or I use a little bit of fry light oil. Just helps the parchment to stick to the tray a bit better. And this then wants to go into the refrigerator for about 15 minutes, and that's to let that soft butter start to harden up again. So into the oven into the refrigerator this goes. Okay, so that's going into the refrigerator for about 15-20 minutes. While that's doing that, what you can do is pop your oven on. It needs to be about 175 Celsius, which I believe is 350 Fahrenheit, and I'll put the gas mark below for you, or in the description as well. So yes, I'm going to put my oven on, and I will be back to you in about 20 minutes when we're ready for the next stage. So, see you shortly. Okay, welcome back. So, I've been a little bit longer than I was supposed to be. Mine have been in the fridge now for a good 40 minutes, but that's what happens when someone's at the door and the phone rings. So, I am back. So what we've done, we've taken that, sorry for that noise as well, that's my washing machine. I've just pressed pause on it to quieten it down for you. So we're back. I've taken it out of the refrigerator. I'm going to take that top layer of parchment off, and then with a sharp knife, or with a pizza cutter, that's my tip of the day, I want you to cut this cookie dough into, well, you can do it how you like. There's about 16.5 grams of carb in the whole thing. I like to do mine about 1 inch by 2 inches, but like I said, you can make them any shape you like. Also, you can use, if I can find one, you can use a cookie cutter if you prefer to cut them out, but I find then you have to re-roll and that becomes a bit of a pain. So we're just going to go with the cookie cutter, that's not a cookie cutter, it is today, but it's pizza roller. Okay, so I'm going to make a nice square with this. This is easier with chocolate chips than it is with the chocolate chunks, I will be honest. Bear with me, that's the door. Okay, so sorry about that. That was the door yet again. As I've said before, I've had lots of interruptions today. So, as you can see from the close-up camera, I've chopped these into nice square pieces, and these are then going to transfer onto my tray and then into the oven for around 15 to 17 minutes, or until lightly golden brown on the edges. Now, these will be soft when they come out the oven, but the best tip here is to leave them until they're nice and room temperature, and you'll find that they are just crumbly and soft and perfect, ready to go with a nice cup of tea. So I'm going to pop these into the oven, and I will be back to you guys when they come out. So I shall see you in about 15 to 17 minutes. Okay, so I have taken out my shortbread from the oven, and it has left it to cool. Now you can leave it to cool on the tray, as I have, and you can see now that they've firmed up, because when they first come out, they are super soft. For example, this little piece here, you can see where it curled up the side, because I moved the paper instead of the tray. So it dried in that shape. But yes, so they've taken those out. They can be kept at room temperature in an airtight Tupperware for between a week to 2 weeks. I'd say up to 2 weeks if they last that long in your house. Each biscuit is less than a carb, so I've got 22 biscuits, which is less than 1 gram of carb. If you do bigger biscuits, obviously please adjust the amount of carbs for the biscuit. And that is it. I'm just trying to think if there was any other tips. Oh yes, so like I mentioned before, if you don't want to use chocolate chips, you don't have to. You can leave those out, and that will put the carb count down a bit more as well. You can change the flavours. You can add things like desiccated coconut. You could use some dried fruits, but again, please remember the carbs in that one. You can add the sugar-free caramel, the chunks of that. You can add that in there. Another tip that I have done before is you can take the biscuit, and instead of putting the chocolate chunks in, you can melt it and then dip half of it in, pull it out, let them set. You can drizzle a little bit on the top. The other thing I like to do as well is, while they're still warm when they come out of the oven, is just with a little bit of double cream, with a pastry brush, just brush the top and then sprinkle a little bit more of the granulated erythritol on the top, and then that will give them the sugary sweet effect, because these aren't over sweet, these cookies, these shortbread cookies. So adding that little bit more on the top just gives it that little bit more of a sweetness. And that's it. That's all I've got for you this week. So thanks again if you've made it all the way to the end. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help my channel, so please smash that like button. Please leave a comment down below as well if there's anything that you'd like me to make for you, if there's any questions or recommendations. You can also hit me up on all the social medias, which you can see on screen now. One other update is I am going to be getting rid of the Patreon. I'm just not a big fan of the Patreon and how it works, and I will be joining to buy me a coffee instead. I know a lot of people don't like doing the monthly subscription thing, and I am one of them. I would much rather, when I like a video or a recipe, buy a coffee, and that is what I will be doing in the future. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you so much again for joining me for another recipe. And I do apologise, there's been a bit of a gap between recipes due to personal reasons, new oven, central heating and things like that. But I will be back to you again next week. So on that note, I will see you next time.